Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Gruber Wired. I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and welcome once again.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Who do we have with us today?
Who do we have?
Who is this?
This is the one and only
Janie Herndon.
There you
Leon.
Leon.
There you go. Don't forget that.
She's our boss. Right?
There we go. That's,
the way to put it?
that's what they say.
Hey, if you have any comments, make sure you, because we're live right now, so take advantage of that. We can't answer the pre-recorded or the recorded later.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
So if you got
exactly.
any questions, hit us up.
We want to hear from you all.
That's right.
So
Harry,
today-
behave.
Behave, Harry. That's funny.
Right.
So, Janie, today we're just going to dive in here a little bit. You have been with the company 11 years now?
Yes. Over 11
Wow.
years.
Wow.
Enjoyed every minute of it. And I still feel like a newborn around here.
Do you?
Well, no.
Like
in
it
the
was yesterday in essence?
well, in the sense that it's, we have a lot of people around here with long tenureships.
Right.
And, you think after 11 years, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm good. I got my tenureship in here. And then, I'm talking every day to people that are 30 years into this.
Right.
So.
Right. And
They're-
it's such a dynamic industry that really even the people who've been here 30 years are still learning new things because
Constant.
the industry
Yeah.
continues to evolve. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
what makes it exciting.
it does. It does. It's
Yeah.
one of these things that really fascinates me about the job and makes me intrigued every day is just exploring the new things that are happening, and you hear a term that you've never heard before, and so we're going to figure it out, right? And that's what keeps me coming back.
Yeah, I know. And you're talking about the evolution. I mean, the progression has got to, coming from when
Right.
you started, I know I'm going 10 years in, a little bit
Right.
after you, but I've seen just a tremendous change, growth, and expansion over the time of just who we are,
Right.
our Gruber footprint.
Well,
and
that's
so,
a little bit what I'm going to talk about today.
and so
yeah.
I imagine that you've seen it from your eyes, a different perspective from
Sure.
the position you're in.
Right. Well, Mark, I thought you kept coming back for John and I.
You could have said
there you go.
You could have said you and I'd have been okay, but when you throw John into it,
Oh, come on.
that's really a bridge too far right there.
I know the camaraderie. You guys keep it going. All right. So, anyways, but I had to reflect when we talk about this, and I can go on a rant. But I came back from mortgage banking, finance world. Did that for 18 years. My whole family was in it. My mother, my sisters, my father, everybody did it. That was in our DNA. And I longed to break away from it. And that's when I took a lot of other positions in different places, worked for an attorney's office for a while, did accounting, worked for a little while. And I was like, okay, what am I going to make my new career? I'm going to make something. I'm going to dive into something, and I'm going to make that my new career.
Right.
Careers don't come on a platter, by the way, folks. You got to make it happen.
Good. Yes, exactly. It's very true.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
So, I heard about this place, Gruber, in the North Phoenix Valley, and I was like, well, you know what? That's it. I'm just going to dive head in first, and I'm going to make this my career. And I'll never forget my first 2 weeks sitting on the floor, took an entry-level position, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, cabling. How am I going to find my passion about this copper cable?
Yeah, right?
I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about this industry, but I know if I'm going to make this my new career, I'm going to have to find my passion for it. And it evolved. When I started seeking and asking questions and trying to learn more about what it does, how it does it, it just blossomed. And I think that's what I've seen from others throughout the years that have come in as well.
Sure.
Is that it goes right in line with that whole, the technology evolves, and as we learn about what our customers are doing in the spaces that they're working in,
Right.
it becomes fascinating. Yeah.
The fascinating part to me is the end result, how we go from all of this to you guys can watch our show, see all the entertainment, everything, the education that comes along with it, all because of, connectivity that we have. Or even nowadays, everybody has one of these, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
If we didn't have this material in place, we wouldn't have these.
Right.
So
Right.
it all goes hand. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Oh, totally. So, John, continue on. What is the topic, or what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, John.
Yeah, they throw it at me, right? I
We
gotta
like to do that to John.
I'm gonna pride ourselves on success stories. Let's be positive.
Yep.
Okay, let's understand where we've come from, and not only as a company, but in personally, and growing and understanding what that success means.
Okay.
You've come aboard here recently, right?
Oh, yeah.
Fresh, and you're taking us beyond the galaxies, I guess you'd say, right?
Our universe.
Yes.
Yes.
Explain to our fan base out there, what is the universe? What is the
feel like my
Gruber
mic is
universe?
It feels like it is too.
Yeah.
but I
Yeah,
think-
it seems like it's a little. Whoa, there we go. That's
Look at that.
better. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
We
put it to
have
my
the
face.
starry background here today to represent that.
I love that. Beautiful. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to go back now, kind of a long, short story.
Time warp backward.
Yes. Again, after being here for over 11 years, I've been really, engrossed in learning our history, how we started out, where we came from to where we are now. And learning about that is really part of what's put us to the place we are now, with our vision and our mission set on, going into the universe and conquering our galaxy. And the company Pete started out of his house with 17 or 19 people. Everybody at the time was all hands on deck, make it happen, just figure it out. We'll go in and be the ones to do it,
Right.
Whether you're in there, cutting the cable yourself because you needed to crimp it to get it to the customer site, whatever it was.
We're renting trenching equipment, like I heard the story I heard about.
Yeah, exactly. All
Yep.
hands on deck. And
Yep.
everybody kind of made it happen, to making your own invoices, to invoice the customer,
Yeah.
And companies go through, and credit to our CFO, they go through fundamental changes over the years. And those changes come from, as their rise in revenue happens, employees and things like that. And so we as a company, we started in 1984. I put down some notes here. And between like 1984 and 1998, we were a media, mid-sized company. We were doing well. We were coming up and growing. And then we really saw a takeoff in 1999, 98, when the Y2K events happened. And then that really soared our company into another place, financially, people-wise, because, the market grew and the demand grew for data communication products. And then after that, we as a company settled in. And from, around 2004, for the next decade, we really, settled into where we're at, working in the space we have, doing well with what we have.
Right.
But our vision of our company, and where I as well would like to see our company, is I would like to see our grandkids be able to work here someday.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
And for us to be able to provide that opportunity for them to support themselves and their families someday would mean that we want to make sure we're set up and setting this company up for success through those times.
Sure.
And so that's where I see this. And I want to see us be able to continue to grow and innovate so that we have that longevity into the future. And so that's where I started thinking, I reincorporated myself into the communications team back in 2023 from the Power Services Division. And part of it was, okay, how are we going to expand on from where we've settled in at? And that is opening our minds and opening up what it is that we can do and expanding ourselves. No limitations. The universe has no limitations. It's, as far as I know, it's unending, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's where that conceptually comes into play.
Okay.
We could do, fun little, missions based on, scoring points or doing that or the other. But there's always that, once you make it to the top, then where else do you go?
Right.
Well, going into the universe, we can keep on going.
Keep traveling.
Right?
Yeah. It just keeps going.
Exactly.
Got some comments
Oh,
up
yeah,
there.
go
Pete
for it.
says, I also have grandkids I'd like to join and grow with our company. Yeah, right?
I
Awesome.
think I know some little special ones out there.
And then Pete says, we have a very unique culture with some very talented and dedicated leadership. That is key, right? I mean, it really is. You have to have the right people in the right job spot.
Sure.
And
that's part of it.
having that really helps guide and give guidance and support to the machine itself.
Oh, yeah. So that way we're all working in the same direction.
Exactly.
Yeah. Going the same way. So, that's what inspired our mission. So our first segment of our mission this year has been to first conquer the Milky Way galaxy, which we are fantastically on track to do that because of you gentlemen and the rest of the team who are constantly expanding the opportunities to our customers to find new ways to help them and build on what we can do for them.
Sure.
And that's a big part of it. I mean, we're going to go after the Milky Way galaxy and continue on through the universe and see where else we can go.
And we're already at 9 months now, continuous. in
Record-breaking
hitting the goal-
numbers.
in hitting
Yeah.
goals, yeah.
It's
So,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
We hit yesterday, so
Oh, yeah.
we still got a few days left even.
Yeah,
I
we're
know,
still waiting for Janie to do the jig for us.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah,
Hey, I got a
get the right
video
jig.
for everybody that wants to see John
no,
do
you
the
don't.
jig for
Yes,
last
we
month.
do.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
we'll have to bring it up sometime here.
We'll turn that into a
we
reel.
we
for
can put
the-
it in a short. Yeah,
there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, we'll post it on all
you
the
do that. We'll see how that goes over. Frank Leon says Stella wants a job.
Well, she's got it.
There you go.
That's right. We're going to set her up.
There you go.
No, but reaching these goals, it feels amazing coming from our seats. Yes,
Yeah.
we have the day-and-day grind that we all go through, and there's going to be
Right.
some hiccups along the road. But when you get there and you understand what that success is, and I'm not talking the empty success. We've all know what empty success is, right?
Yeah.
That's where, hey, I gained something, but I really have no substance behind it.
Right.
And that emptiness. No, this feels different.
Well,
Yeah.
you know
What we're doing.
success is never a destination. Success is a byproduct of doing the job right.
Correct. Yeah.
And yeah,
There you
because
go.
if you seek success, you forget to focus on
The path.
really, what
Yeah.
it takes to get there. So it's doing all the things. It's taking care of the customers completely and making sure that their problems are your problems,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
taking it from beginning to end and getting that happy email that says, hey, you did a great job. Your service
Yeah.
and support were amazing.
John's good
Speaking
at
of
those
which,
emails.
Cass, pull up picture number 1 for me. I put this together because this is how I feel my measurement of success is, and that's
Right.
coming back from the customer. I went through back about a week and a half in my emails and pulled some statements that came from our customers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can see here some of those. Everything's working great. It looks good too. Thanks for checking back with me. I appreciate it. Fantastic. Thanks so much for great customer service today. Just simple things like awesome. Thank you, John. This is what I feed off of.
Oh, yeah. That's what, yes,
And
exactly.
so, for me, my definition of understanding what is that fulfillment, that part of success, is when I get these responses like this from our customers.
It's amazing how many responses we get like that.
Yeah, and I
It's
imagine
so
I'm just
good.
one piece, so I can only imagine what the other teams are getting, and the
Yeah,
other,
I mean-
everyone is getting this stuff.
Well, that's what
And-
makes us who we are and why we aren't
Yeah.
some of these, where it's a You walk into a store, you pick up your standard box item, you walk out, it may or may not work for what you need. You know, we make sure what we sell to our customers are what they need.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if they call an 800 number, you know, from those other places, they're going to get somebody out of the country that has no idea what they're trying to get to.
Right.
Here, they're talking to John.
Right.
You know, and the stuff
Don't say we didn't warn you.
Extension 221.
that's me. 221. You want it? Give me a call.
And if you just want to ring it a couple times and hang up, that's great too.
Happens all day long for me. These guys, I'll get up to go to lunch or something, right? Halfway down the hallway and my phone rings. Hank a beeline back to my phone, you know, because I got to get that customer and realize it's Mark over there. Ha, John. But that very last one, this one hit me.
Okay.
Thanks again, guys. That was fun.
Oh,
That
that's
right there
awesome.
told me everything I need to know. That was
Yeah.
fun.
They enjoyed working with you.
And so that's a blessing.
But you guys
That's
are
a
quite
blessing.
comical, you and Harry.
we try to be.
No, it
It's
is
dynamic.
Yeah.
Highlander says it's good that you got grandkids to take over, Pete.
Oh, yeah, he's been working on that for a while now.
Yes, and happy birthday, Pete. It was his birthday
Yeah.
yesterday,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. We went through the whole segment, and he has kept going, okay, yep, it's my birthday. Eric even sang it, you know.
It's not about the years at that point. You know, I can speak from experience because you know,
Right.
Right.
I'm getting up there. But it's now about the milestones instead of the miles, right?
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I get it.
Yep.
Hey, Cass, can you pull up picture number 2 for me?
Those are great, by the way, John.
Yeah,
Nice
it's
feedback.
fun, but
That is
that's
cool.
just. This is actual picture that we have hanging between your office and Mark Schaffner's office.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We see this every day, just sitting there hitting in front of our faces, right there.
It's so true.
And yeah, if there's one statement, right, it's right there. If you don't take care of the customer, somebody else will.
Right.
I mean, bottom line.
How many
And they may
customers?
not like who else will.
No. How many other customers How many customers have we, gotten because of poor service from another
Absolutely.
business? Yep.
Yep.
And that's the whole thing about that I've learned over time about this sales cycle is that you maintaining the relationships with people even if they're not buying, because at some point somebody's going to trip and they're going to need you, and then when you step in
That's
and you can
exactly it.
solve the problem, you know, everybody that we talk to is important, because at some point, I mean, our products are a need, they're not a want. It's not a luxury item.
Yeah.
It's something they have to do to get the job done. So
Right.
that being the case, if a current supplier of theirs trips and we fill the gap, that just puts us one more rung up the ladder to be looked at as a primary for them. And in some cases, it's the last straw for the guy who tripped. And
Right.
and we move in, and it's, you know, it's so important to just maintain that attitude of consistency in talking with them and dealing with them, and just recognizing that, you know, we may not be a fit today, but we'll be a fit at some point.
Yeah, and
Right.
that's
Yep.
the thing about it is there's always an answer.
Yep.
Okay. Now, you might not agree with that answer. You might not like the answer, but there's always an answer.
Right.
And you can always use that. I mean, it just going that extra mile, you know, to take care of not only customers, but to take care of each other in our office too. You know,
Right.
that's
Yep.
something we never talk about a lot is how's our customer service between you and I, Mark?
Right.
How am I helping you out? How am I helping to educate and further you
Right.
along in your mission, your goal?
Right.
You know, and
We all jump in together on
we
problems.
do.
I
We're
mean,
pretty good.
Seriously,
There's a lot of
seriously,
team camaraderie
exactly,
that way.
because
yes.
we don't all have the answer, but everybody together will find the answer.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
how it works.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Highlander, come back on there. You're not getting up there. You and I are the same age. We're just hitting our stride, brother.
That's right.
I like that idea.
And what does Pete say there? We're in the customer satisfaction business. Our products and services will change and evolve.
Yep.
Very
right,
true.
to take care of the customer.
That's right,
Very true.
because
Yeah.
because what this fiber is today might be something completely different 10 years from now.
Yeah, it's
But
ever changing.
We'll still be there, right? It's the relationship
Exactly.
and being able to give them what they need And it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing that it is today, because their businesses evolve as well as our business. So, yep.
Yeah, again, it's all a symbiotic relationship.
Yep.
It really is.
Kind of like our companies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody knows we have several companies underneath this umbrella,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
so we have the communication side, which is what we're on. We
Right.
have the Gruber power side, which works with UPS systems, batteries, and so forth.
Right.
And then we have Gruber Motors. If you guys haven't heard of Gruber, go check it out. Check out the website. Pretty cool stuff going
fun
on there.
stuff. Yeah.
They
Lots
have
of fun
a
stuff.
million followers, 1.3 million followers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we allowed our followers to go over there. We said, yeah, go check them out.
You know,
You referred them.
oh boy.
Referral.
Yeah.
Oh boy. John is special.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've been here. What is some of the largest challenges or hurdles you personally had to go over and achieve here at Gruber?
Well, I'm going to take a step back on that question.
Okay.
One of the questions that you mentioned to me coming into this was also what my measurement of success is.
Yeah.
And so before we jump to the next one, is challenges. I want to mention what I see success. Yes, successfully taking care of the customer. That's key. We need the customers, otherwise we don't exist. But when I pull in the mornings or I pull out at lunch and I look at that parking lot and all of those cars, I'm seeing a lot of people that are supporting their families, paying their electric bills, putting food on the table, and providing for themselves.
Yeah.
And to me, that is the success. And that's really what I see as the value of us in success, is being able to have so many people being able to support ourselves and support our families.
Right.
You know, it's not like 1886 where we have a farm. You know, we all need ways to take care of ourselves, put food on the table, pay our bills and things like that.
Right.
And it's phenomenal and fantastic that we all have this place that we all get to come to and we like and we enjoy coming to.
Right.
And it's growing.
And it's growing, and, you know, so that we can help other people be able to provide for themselves.
Right.
So that's where I see
Yeah.
that success.
Yeah, and I think you've done, Gruber in itself as a whole has done a really good job of understanding how to build positions that foster careers, not just a
Right.
job,
Right.
careers. And that's where we see the longevity of people staying here, you know, because we understand that you can have a viable career in this journey with Gruber.
Right.
Oh, totally. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll help you get there. Absolutely. So, okay, so the next question. What has been my biggest challenge here at Gruber? You know, I have to reflect on, and especially with the movement of growth and things like that, is people, no fault of their own, get indoctrinated to the way of doing things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And without vision of there could be other different ways of doing things that could streamline them and help with the effort. And so I think one of the biggest challenges is overcoming some of those and, you know, bringing to light that, you know what, we can take in Mark's ideas, John's ideas into the table and potentially come up with a new fantastic idea
Right.
and have a way to do things a little different.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I
you
agree.
know, it's fostering that environment,
Sure.
which we've come a long way and we're doing really well
Cool.
in that way.
Yeah, I've
So,
seen that change, and that's what you're describing there. It's one of those changes that takes time to progress because you're
Yeah.
changing minds,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you know, and some of us have been around for a while. Sometimes we're just stuck
Or
You know, right? We're just stuck. We're in this mode right here.
We're used to doing things a certain way, in a certain process, in a certain manner, because it's worked, which is fantastic. And it still can work, but also bringing in somebody else's or a new idea to say, hey, you know what? Let's see if this does it a little faster, better, for the scenario.
Right.
You know what just triggered my mind was with Doge and Elon Musk when they went and found all the old files, right, for Social Security
Oh,
in
no,
the
all those
cave.
people that
In the
weren't-
cave. That's a good example.
Oh, right.
It worked for all these years. Here's another folder. Put it in there and
Oh,
stick
right,
it in the
right,
cave.
right.
You know.
Yeah.
And Elon's like, time out. We need to
We don't need to
transition
do
this.
this.
No, we got computers now. We got databases. We need to. You know.
We don't need to have these hard files hidden in
So
the mountain
that's
anymore.
Just, that
No.
example just
Yeah.
came to my mind when
I
you
know
said
that's
that.
so
I thought it was a
true.
joke post when I read that the first time.
No,
I'm
that's
like,
true.
No, I know. But at first, when I read it, I'm like, no way.
That we're really hiding people's Social Security numbers in a mountain somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, just beyond, comprehension, right?
Right.
That was started, the 50s, the 40s. That's, holy cow.
Hey, Grub's Life on there says, great work, team. A little heart. Yay.
That's Noah.
Is that Noah?
Grub's Life, yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, that
Grub's
makes
Life,
sense.
it is Noah. Hey, Noah, you know what? Since you're getting so good using those manila folders, we'll send you down to the government's cave.
Oh, no, you
I
didn't.
know.
I did. Oh, no, you didn't.
That's one of those other ways, right?
Highlander says they're down in the mine to protect them from nuclear bombs. That's a fact. I didn't have to look it up the minute they mentioned it because I've been in one of those bunkers.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
But don't
okay.
you think at the point if there's a nuclear bomb, who cares about your Social Security number?
I don't think checks are getting cut.
I know.
No.
I really am
We get
not
to
worried
that
about
point, it's
having
not
a
gonna
number
matter.
at that point.
No.
You know. We can start over.
Yeah.
That's funny. We're almost out of time already. These
Holy
half
cow.
hours go so fast.
They do.
Are there any points you really wanted to get to before we?
Well, yeah, one other
Yeah.
thing. You asked about describing my management style.
I did. Yeah.
All right. Transformational.
Okay.
There's the different styles of management, and really the one that I cling on to the most is the transformational style. And, incorporating that open door, get in the weeds, be involved, do what I can, work alongside you guys. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of different styles. And,
Sure.
Yep.
No, but it's great. It's nice that you have that open door. I'll be honest. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, and I'm sure others do as well.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, we've been able to do some really good things. From the inception to actually running with it on those Neutrik cables.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a really quick process compared to how slow some companies might move on
Yeah.
something like that.
months
But
and
it
months.
was just something that seemed to be a natural fit. Janie bought in. It was like, yeah, let's do that, and boom.
I
we
loved
have
you
a-
bringing that to
Yeah.
the table. I
Yeah.
mean, the idea of identifying additional markets, and that's exactly
Yeah.
what we're talking
Yep.
about, expanding our universe. You
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head with that. Open up new markets. Where else can we go with this world?
Well, and stuff like that just fits right in with what we do. I mean,
Oh,
I
like
mean,
a
it was just
glove.
like it was like, why aren't we already doing this? And I know
know.
we had made some, before for customers as specialty cables, right? They were,
Yeah.
there were some out there,
Right.
but as a product line,
Right.
specifically for the production industry, for stage and lighting and all that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
it's
new
exciting.
door to go through.
And no
I mean,
one in this area, in this town, in this state is making these, right? Except
That's
us.
exactly it.
Yeah. No one.
We've
Yeah.
got so much,
Yeah.
that.
You know what I appreciate, Janie, is the fact you're willing to get in the trenches with us.
Oh, yeah.
That's a blessing. I
Well,
do
thank
appreciate
you guys.
that.
This
So
isn't
thank
all
you
about
for that.
complimenting me. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. But the whole thing is.
I'm going to hear it after this. But no, I'm just being serious. It's nice that
know,
you're
right?
able to.
They're already planning.
I'm sure
back
they
at
are.
the office.
I can see the memes now.
I know. It's coming. It's coming.
You're so in
You
for
say
it,
that
John.
with a quiver in your voice,
No,
John.
but
Oh, they're coming.
You know what it is I don't know what I don't know, and I can't do anything unless I, as far as making decisions at a higher level in the right direction without knowing what you guys are involved in.
Sure.
And so whenever there's, a higher level decision to be made, I want to understand what direction you guys are going so that I can make sure we're all in sync.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
End of the day, that's what it is.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right.
You want to finish the last comment there from Highland?
Highlanders, with all these mega AI centers opening up, especially in the United States, in Phoenix, is Gruber Communications involved in any of them? Well, yes.
We actually are. Yeah.
We are.
We're
yes.
working with many of those data centers that
in
are out
one
here.
way or form or fashion or another,
Yeah.
Right.
because there's different ways to be involved. And so from our metal products, our, rack rails and cable managers and the metal products themselves to, our fiber optics and data cabling, copper cabling, different customers have different needs. We reach different layers within those centers, and they'll have
Right.
different needs depending on what they're
I
procuring.
was just working with a data center over in Tempe this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And what we do for them is we run cabling, both copper and fiber,
Right.
but we serialize everything.
Yeah.
So when they get it, they have that number goes in. They know exactly where our Gruber cable is located in that data center.
Yeah.
Which is a blessing for them.
Right.
And so we just continuously serialize these cables for them, and it's actually kind of fun. This is one of
That
those
is
fun jobs you
neat.
get into.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, we're actively working with a lot of those. Highlander also says, "I'm always nice to head of the HR." Yeah, right?
Head of HR.
I swear, there's probably some
right.
days I'm an HR nightmare. I'm sure.
Oh, John, not you.
We're not going to talk about that.
Not on air.
Not on air. Not on air. We want children to be able to watch this show. All right.
All right, guys,
Well,
it's been fun. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you, Jamie.
It's
you
good
bet.
talk.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you came on. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Remember, we are here every Thursday at 3 p.m. Arizona time. We are glad you were with us and joined us today. We thank you again for being such a great audience. And for now, I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and
I'm Janie Herndon-Leon.
Have a great week. It's 4th of July next week.
Sit down.